Are there like tax benefits or deductions that international students should be aware of whenever they want to file their taxes? How many days will it take me to get my refund after my? All right, before we start, consider subscribing to the channel. This helps me so much. Thank you.
I've been filing taxes for more than, let's say, about 14, 15
Wow.
years now. Yeah.
Mm.
And
So where we come from, Ghana and Africa, when people file their taxes, they don't get anything back. But here in the US, it's like anytime you file your taxes, you get a lot of money. I mean, a lot of money back actually when you look at it, you know. So I'm just wondering why that is the case. Why do we get a lot of money back?
it is not always the case.
Okay.
It's not always the case that you get refund.
Yeah.
Couple of last year, I have somebody pay $22,000.
What?
Yes. Yeah, and then yeah, so she paid it on the spot. Yeah,
Wow.
so and our people pay more, So it is not always the case that
Mm.
when you file taxes, you should get something, and that is one of the things that some students don't probably know. So if you look at the tax laws, there is something that I want to show you. I probably not talk too much about it, but then once most of the tax laws are proportional to how you or what you like how your income is supposed to be.
Mm.
Now, so if you look at the current tax brackets that we have, we call it tax brackets.
Mm.
So if you are earning less, your tax bracket is 10%. And that
Oh,
is why
okay.
those people who are learning less, they tend to all the time get something back. But
Mm.
then if you are earning somewhere around 100,000, your tax bracket is around 22 to 25%. So that means
Mm.
you have to pay more. So most people pay when they get pay back to the state or the government when they are increasing. And
Mm.
you're gonna get to a point that students, once you get out of school and you have your very good job, you are not gonna get anything again. Yeah,
Mm.
people don't get
Okay.
anything again. You have
Wow.
not got in there yet. You will get there one day.
Wow. Okay. Wow. Wow. Nice. Do you think it's advisable for me to file it myself? I mean, obviously, I've not done it that before, but do you think it is advisable to do it myself, or I need to let somebody like you to do it for me all the time?
All right. So the one thing is that the taxes itself is it's like, what do I say is the IRS don't care if you have a credit and you don't claim it. Let's say if I have a baby, a baby is a credit. And if you don't file with the baby, the IRS will not come chasing for you. But then it is what you are supposed to get. So it's your entitlement. But if
Mm.
you don't, now unlike you having a W2 and not reporting, the IRS will come chasing for you because you have an unreported W2.
Mm.
So to cut it short, if you are supposed to get, let's say, $800 and you file and you get $100, they don't care that you didn't maximize it.
Yeah.
But then you probably might not know how to maximize it to get what is exactly. So that
Yeah.
is why the tax practitioners like tax preparers also come in. And not
Mm.
only that, there are so many intricacies that goes into um, filing. Sometimes the IRS can write to you. You can receive a letter. So when you receive a letter, you go back to your tax preparer.
Mm.
So your tax preparer must be able to represent you with the IRS. They must be able to explain that, okay, so this is what we need to do. And most of my clients came because they had issues somewhere else and they came and then I helped fix it for them. Or
Mm.
I guide them that, hey, this is the right thing to do. This is not,
Yeah.
you cannot do it this way. So it goes both ways. Like you can just choose to do it. Some people can just choose to do it themselves. But then at the end of the day, it's going to get complicated. There are simpler ones and there are very complicated ones, the business ones, and then so many things are involved. So once it's not
Yeah.
maximized, like again, they don't really care. And once it is maximized, now, and sometimes you're probably going to end up losing money. I've spoken with some people who filed it. I think this year I spoke with one Nigerian and another Ghanaian. They tried to do it themselves, then thinking they were supposed to get a refund. Then the IRS wrote to them that they are supposed to pay 1,500. And then
Uh,
they came to me and I told them that, well, you have complicated yourself. There's no way I can help you.
uh,
Because once you send a file to them, I cannot even come in and then say that, okay, no. And I told
yeah,
them, it's just because somebody would chop your small money, you know?
yeah,
So they want to exactly, and at the end of the day, you end up doing something that is out of it.
yeah.
So, and there are so many things that we know about the taxes. We don't only file taxes, we also do advise what you need to do. So about when you get a new job, how to fill your W-4 so you don't get, when your income is increasing, what you need to do so that you don't end up owing, and then how to do this, how to do that. So all these things come together to actually help you.
Mm.
Yeah,
Get a good refund. Yeah,
exactly. So it is,
yeah,
I think it's good. But again, I don't mind if you still want somebody to do it or do it yourself. That is still
yeah.
your own. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to ask you whether you think you are the best person to do it for international students, but you've already made a case for yourself that you know all these things. And yeah, like I said before, right? I have never done it before myself. I always let you do it. I am aware of all these softwares that you can actually do it yourself, but yeah, when I came, Francis actually recommended you to me, and so I reached out, and then those who also came after me, I
You got
linked
them.
them up
Yeah, I
to, yeah,
remember.
yeah. So it's like, yeah, I think it's safer and all of that, and it's not like you. Okay, so how much do you charge? Because I know, but I,
Well,
yeah,
it's I charge differently, but mostly the base is around 80 something. I charge
mm,
differently. I
yeah,
charge. I've never gone beyond. I think the most I've charged somebody for taxes is $300, and there
mm,
are people also that pay more. There are
yeah,
some people, like there are some businesses that I represent, so I
mm,
do their payroll, and then I advise them business wise, and they pay more, like sometimes 500,000 or more.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
If yeah, so there are a couple of businesses that I have. Like I have one Nigerian who have a whole lot of business, and I'm the one that guide them. So like kind of
mm,
tax wise, and there is one another Ghanaian who has a pharmacist. There are a couple of them. So now that is basically, and then when the couple, I charge a little higher because of this thing, the software charges and all those
yeah,
things. Yeah. So basically, it is around 80 something thereabouts.
yeah. Yeah, I think anytime I come to you, you tell me, I think about 80 something, yeah. And
Yeah.
then, you can add more to it,
You're
like,
like, yeah,
that
you're
one.
like, you have been one of the good guys.
Yeah.
Not everybody that do that.
Yeah, I mean,
And I
that's,
like let me just say this. Last year I had a crunch. I remember I told you about that. Last year was one of the
yeah,
it was
yeah.
actually last year was the worst because I was taking some postgraduate classes. So I eventually have to drop it. There is one of my
Uh,
clients from Delaware. My
mm,
clients are scattered all over the
yeah.
yeah. And then I think he sent his document. I called him actually, and he says, "Oh, he's giving it to somebody else." I said, "Wow!" So he couldn't even wait. So, well,
Yeah.
two
Yeah.
2 months later, he called me. No, I said, "What's up?" He says, "Well, the IRS has written to me," and then I said, "Send me the file. I want to see the file." The guy who filed the tax, he sent it. This is a tax professional because there are some softwares that if you are not a tax professional, you cannot. It's not. It's different from so.
Mm,
I said, and he filed this tax for you. That is one of the complicated taxes because he lives in New Jersey, and he working in New York.
mm.
So that is one of the complicated taxes.
Oh, wow.
And the IRS brought him. I think he was supposed to pay $10,000 something something. I said, well,
Uh,
now you would have to pay double because you have no patience.
wow.
I have to go back and fix everything and then resubmit to them so that
Mm,
instead of paying them, he wouldn't have to
yeah.
pay them. You know,
Uh,
so these are the things that probably we can do. We know the
yeah.
intricacies. In fact, there is nothing that we don't know. I think that I thank God because sometimes it just comes to me. Sometimes some of the taxes are so complicated. I leave it for 3, 4, 5 days to know how best I can address the issue,
Mm,
and not really even the taxes. Some people come with an issue. Somebody
Yeah.
like come in and says that IRS has written me and I'm owing 11,000.
Wow.
Yeah, IRS has written to me and I'm owing. Can you help me? Then I
Wow.
tell, let me look at your case. So it's like it, and then I'll have to go through it and say, well, do you have this? Do you have this? Then this is how we can do it. And I think that last 3 years I was able to reduce some of their, I think one Nigerian, two Ghanaians
Mm.
from 11,000 to 1,000 something,
Wow.
which they were so
Eh,
excited. People
uh,
like that, they will be stuck with you for the rest of their life before, yeah,
yeah.
because of, yeah.
Yeah. Let's say we are in December and I am getting ready for tax season, to file my taxes. What documents do I need to get and where can I get these documents?
Yeah, so it depends on what you did that year. So if you're a student, your school is and you're on scholarship, you are working, your school is going to give you those W-2s and all those tax documents. Like there are a lot of them that most of them begins with 10, you know, or the 1099, 1090
Mm,
this, 10 this, 10 this, 10 that. And then we have the in addition to the W-2s, the 1010s are the investments, the 99s, the companies, the businesses, and all those things. There are a lot of them that I'm telling you, even when you have won a lottery, you still have to file a tax. You're going to get a
oh wow.
1099 CR, yeah, that you have to pay taxes on the lottery. So there's no free lunch in the US. Yeah, there's no free lunch in
Yeah.
the
The US
US.
tax system
Of
and
course,
everything you have to pay. Yeah.
the best thing is that you can talk to your tax advisor or whoever files your tax and I say, what document do I need? Because if your investment, if you have a money in the savings, you have to pay taxes on the interest end and so on and so forth.
Mm. How many days should I work before I am able to file my taxes? Is there like a minimum?
Hours,
No, like how many? Is it based on hours or how many
hours.
hours?
Once you make
Okay.
money, you have to file taxes.
Okay. So if I work only 10 hours in
You
the
have
whole
to
of
file taxes.
2024. Oh,
If
okay.
you if you work 1 hour, you have to file taxes.
Oh, wow. So there's no minimum actually, right?
It's only when you don't work. If you don't work, you are not obliged to file.
Ah, okay. How many days will it take me to get my refund after
The
my thing
normal
has been.
circumstance, it's 21 days, which is 3 weeks.
Okay.
And then sometimes, if you are new, it could take a long because mostly those international students, they come in around 20, 30 years. And US people start filing our taxes 18, 19. So
Mm,
once you are coming 31 years, they think it's an identity issue.
mm,
So they would want to make sure that you are who you said you are. The IRS had issue, I think, 2008, where they had so many identity crisis issues. I mean,
mm.
so yeah, they decided to implement so many things to protect people's identity. So even though it says 21 days, it could even go to 1 year and you have not had it. But the good thing is that if at the end of the 1 year, they will pay your tax refund with interest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Ah, yeah, that's the US system.
yeah.
Are there any misconceptions or any confusions about filing of taxes? Is there something that people get wrong about filing
Of
of taxes?
course, of
Okay.
course. People pays monies they are not supposed to pay to the IRS all the
Mm.
time. And IRS, once they take it, they won't bring it back. Yeah,
uh,
I've had people, they paid money, they tell them that easy. I tell people that when you come to the US, there are a couple of friends you need.
mm,
You need, if you have a medical friend, doctor, that is fine, at least to advise you medically,
mm,
what you need to do. But one of them, very important, is also finances, about taxes,
mm,
because if you don't know, if you don't have information, like for example, if you leave a W-2, if you the IRS will bring you CP 2000, and the IRS will charge you 7,000, 8,000, 4,000 for CP
wow.
2000. Yeah. So once that comes in, you just need to look for a tax preparer who will save you. But then some people get scared and say, hey, me, I don't have to have anything with the IRS. Let me pay and be free.
Ah,
Well, you don't have to pay and be free. Go and consult a tax professional.
okay.
And then you probably may end up paying like $200 but once they see that IRS says that you are and they'll be chasing you with letters, and the letters are kind of letters that they have kept. All right, it's kind of type letters typed down, so they just pick it and they send it to you. It's
Ah,
going
okay.
and I'm telling you, even 2 months you can get like 3 or 4. Yeah.
Ah,
Uh,
ah. Are there like tax benefits or deductions that international students should be aware of whenever they want to file their taxes?
the only thing is that when you come as an international student, you are supposed to run as a non-resident for tax purposes. Now, when you do it yourself, you probably will not know how to um, file that well to get you some money. That is why most of us are there to step in and then do it in the way that at least they will get something to support their staff. Now, apart
Mm.
from that, for internationals, there is no tax benefit for them. Uh, People even think that when you get the ITIN, it's going to boost. Unfortunately, there are people that their ITIN even reduce, and the ITIN is a tax identification number. You say, yeah, it is not the same as the Social Security. It's been restricted by the IRS and by every software. So once you put it in, it just catches who you are and it restricts stuff. And then if you are a tax preparer who knows there's there's a way that you can at least help get that person something which is legally right.
If I am correct, I think I read that a resident, like a legal resident for tax purposes, is somebody who has lived in the country for more than 5 years or so.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's thereabout. Yeah,
okay,
that makes you resident. So we call it you are resident for tax purposes, not
okay,
like resident with a green card. You are
yeah.
resident for tax purposes. Yeah.
Because you mentioned non-resident when you are filing, so that's why I'm
You
asking
broke
this.
that.
So,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
so which means what you said about non-resident has to do with those who have been here for less than 5 years. Is that the
Who have
case?
been here for less than 5 years.
Oh, okay.